Good evening. We'll now open up the Williamson County Regional Planning Commission. We have a roll call, please. Press your present button.
Still looked out. Not working? We'll do it. Let's do it voice.
Okay, well, our machine isn't working, so we'll have a voice vote.
Or-
You got it? Okay. All right, Pete Mosley. Jack Wallach. Paul Pratt. John, I'm sorry. Tom, sorry about that. John Kane. Steve Lane. Robert Bowen. Don Crohan. Thank you. Any announcements, staff?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Has several announcements. First of all, we had the kickoff for the Grassland Small Area Study this past Monday night. We had an open house. We had a little over 60 people that attended, and we were quite gratified by the turnout, I should say. We have not set the next meeting. We will need to have the steering committee get back together to set the next public meeting. But I will add that the materials that we shared with the community, the PowerPoint, the handouts, and et cetera, are available online if you care to look at that. Secondly, the new zoning ordinance becomes effective January 1st. That's the good news. The bad news is because where the agenda deadline falls, we'll still be operating one more month under the old zoning ordinance. So to that end, you will find in your package the administrative manual that we have put together, and that's sort of hopefully a way to help ease the transition, not only for the folks that we serve, but probably just as more importantly from staff, because people like me that's been doing this for 21 years on the same ordinance, I know I'm going to have a learning curve, and I suspect a lot of other folks will too. Let me see, a couple other projects that are underway. We will be looking toward in the next couple of months amending our fee schedule. The fee schedule has been the same for, I think, since we adopted the 88 ordinance. I know there was a move afoot in 2007 to do the same thing, but when we had a little bit of unpleasantness in 2008, we decided it was not a good time to be kicking people while they were down. So with the comeback of the economy and with the new zoning ordinance, we're going to be looking at those fees in the next month or so. Also, we will be looking at the subregs as well over the near term to bring those up to standard. Those weren't quite as quite the same time on them as the zoning ordinance did, but they will, but they will be worked on this coming year. I think Mike was going to talk about the administrative manual. Did I talk about it for you?
Well, you did. The only thing I'll add, or I'll say that as Joe said, the new zoning ordinance is going to go into effect on January 1. One of the key goals that we had in developing that new ordinance was to enhance the user friendliness of the ordinance. And along those lines, we've developed this administrative manual that we think will help that document be more user friendly. I think it'll be a good tool for not only staff, but also the development community and the general public in understanding kind of in a snapshot kind of way what our development processes are. And we've got updated checklists in there and so forth. So we wanted to just kind of share that with you today, and also to let you know that that is going to be a very fluid document and something that we will be making changes to as we see opportunities to better convey what our processes are and better summarize, I guess, some of the key components of the new zoning ordinance.
And I had one final announcement, Mr. Chairman. Items 13 and 15 have been withdrawn. And item 13 would be site plan and conditional use for mixed commercial center for the Lucy Covington property. And item 15, final plat review for, is Cowie Acres, I presume, but those two items have been withdrawn. And that's all my announcements, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Consideration for the minutes of November 8th. Are there any corrections to be made? Any questions?
Mr. Chair, move for approval as submitted.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next, we'll have the consent agenda. Do any of the commissioners have any of the items on the consent agenda they'd like to pull for separate hearing? Seeing none, staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Begin with item 3, Brins Valley Addition, Section 2, performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $82,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 4, Brins Valley Section 1, maintenance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $40,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 5, Brins Valley Section 2, maintenance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $45,000. Extended current amount for a period of 6 months, and that the required improvements at the detention pond are completed during this time frame. Item 6, Security Central Storage, maintenance bond for landscaping, $3,100. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 3 months. Item 7, Temple Hills, Section 16, Phase B, performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $175,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 8, Vale Creek, performance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $200,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 9, Vulcan Materials, performance bond for landscaping and revegetation, $53,350. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 10, Watkins Creek, Section 3, maintenance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $125,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months.
Thank you. Any questions on the consent agenda?
Chair, move for approval. Staff recommendation.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We'll have a public hearing next. In a public hearing, the staff will read and make a report, and then we'll open it up for the public, to the public. We'll ask you to come to the podium and give us your name and address for the record. Thank you. The first public hearing is item number 11, is the site plan conditional use review for B&L Trucking Residential Business on 5.05 acres located at 7790 Lampley Road in the 1st Voting District. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicants own an excavation business that operates off-site. The office located on the property in question currently qualifies as a home occupation under the Williamson County zoning ordinance. At this time, the applicants wish to store vehicles and other small equipment on site. To do so, they are requesting approval of a residential business. The property is zoned rural, and this type of use requires Planning Commission approval as a conditional use. The applicant will utilize the proposed 1,173 square foot accessory structure shown on the site plan to store equipment such as tools, an air compressor, battery charger, and a workbench. They also park pickup trucks, a dump truck, and road tractor outside of the barn. At this writing, a truck trailer is being utilized for storage. This shall be removed as a condition of approval. There is a berm in this part of the property that, along with the planting of trees, will screen the vehicles from the road and the adjacent parcel. Employees will consist of the applicants, their son, and one, one part-time employee. The floor area ratio is 0.013 and the landscape surface ratio is 0.96, which meet the requirements of the Williamson County zoning ordinance. The applicants are not proposing any commercial lighting and are not proposing to have a sign. The Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management has approved this request. Bulk standards have been met. The site plan is in order and pending approval by the Department of Sewage Disposal Management by meeting date. Staff recommends approval with the following stipulations. 1, all equipment and vehicles used in the business shall be stored in the proposed accessory structure or outside and screened from view of the road and neighboring properties. 2, completion of an affidavit of compliance to ensure continued adherence to Section 4520M of the Williamson County zoning ordinance and the applicant's letter of intent, and removal of the trailer utilized for storage.
Thank you. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this item at this time? Please come to the podium. Seeing none, is the applicant present? And would you like to speak and say anything on this? Okay, we'll close the public hearing now. Is there anything that the commission would like to ask on this item?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 12, site plan and conditional use review for Mid-American Distributors for temporary fireworks stand on 1.32 acres located at 1270 Lewisburg Pike in the 2nd Voting District. Staff?
The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a temporary fireworks stand in the suburban district. This location was first approved for a temporary fireworks stand in October of 1992. The site is located at the southwest corner of Henpeck Lane and Lewisburg Pike. Since this request is located within the urban growth boundary of the city of Franklin, a copy of the site plan was sent to the city for interplanning review. As of the time of this writing, a response has not been received from the city. The site plan indicates that the proposed fireworks stand will meet the separation requirements of 300 feet from residential structures with an approved 15-foot variance from that requirement and 500 feet from other similar uses. Side and front setback variances, including the above-mentioned 15-foot variance, were approved by the Williamson County Board of Zoning Appeals in 1994. The location of the parking lot is proposed to be a minimum of 20 feet from the sales tent as required. A copy of the lease agreement, which covers the sales and display periods in 2012 and 2013, and a copy of the certificate of insurance covering the sales and display period in 2012 have been submitted. A copy of a new certificate of insurance will have to be submitted prior to operation of the stand in 2013. The applicant is proposing lighting strung along the perimeter of the tent and a light tower in the parking lot for the last week of sales, as has been their past practice. The site plan is in order, and staff recommends approval of this request with the following conditions. 1, that the time period for this approval be limited to 7 days annually, specifically from December 26th through January 1st. 2, this approval shall be valid for 2 years unless the site plan is amended per the criteria set forth in Section 4200D2 of the Williamson County zoning ordinance. And 3, that the applicant be required to provide proof of insurance in the amount of $1 million each occurrence for bodily injury liability and property damage liability prior to December 12, 2013, indicating Williamson County as an additional insured.
Thank you. This is also a public hearing. Is there anyone present that would like to come forward and speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Is the applicant here? Is there anything you'd like to say? Thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Thank you. That ends the public hearing. Item 14, preliminary plat review for Arrington Retreat, Phase 1. This is a revision containing 48 lots on 135.89 acres located off of Nolensville Road in the 5th Voting District. Staff?
The preliminary plat for this phase, which was originally approved in January 2004, extended in December 2005, revised in December 2006, and extended again in November 2008. The applicant is now requesting approval of this revised preliminary plat in order to add a small amenity center consisting of a swimming pool, restroom facility, and associated parking. Additionally, existing lot number 115 will be relocated in order to accommodate the proposed amenity center. Although this change is minor in nature, a revised preliminary plat and a revised final plat are necessary to reflect the location of the amenity area and the relocated lot. The amenity area will be subject to separate review as a simplified site plan following the recording of the revised final plat. It should be noted that additional hydraulic calculations will be required at that time. Staff recommends approval of this revised preliminary plat with the same stipulations that were established in conjunction with the original approval, and with the added stipulation that signatures of all lot owners within Section 1 must be affixed to the revised final plat prior to recording.
Thank you. Anyone on the commission have a question to the staff on this item?
Chair, move for approval, recommendation, staff.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. That concludes the public portion of the meeting. The next portion, we will go into closed session. Take a few minutes, so everybody clears the room, please. Okay, the commission is back in progress. Again, is there any other business to come before the commission? Seeing none, do I have any motion to adjourn? Thank you, have a good evening, and have a Merry Christmas.